Hi guys, welcome back to another exciting tutorial, and today I'll be teaching you how to make the simple ash stop you saw from the thumbnail. So all you need is a pair of scissors, a yarn and a hook. So I'll be using the Alice Silky Effects Diva, and this is not the first time I'm using. As you can see, it's an unraveled yarn. That is what I used for my very first tutorial. So for the hook size, I'll be using the 1.75 millimeter hook. So to begin this top, you are going to make a slip knot, and this is how I find it easy making my slip knot. So after making the slip knot, you are going to insert your hook into the space created for the slip knot, and you are going to chain up 6 in total. So I've chained up 2 so far, so I'm going to add up an additional 4, making 6 in total. So go ahead, chain up 6, and after chaining up 6, you're going to go in the very first chain, and I'm going to create a slip knot just like that to create a cute circle for you to work in. So next, you're going to chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet. So after chaining up 3, you're going to go into that same exact space and create a double crochet just like this. And after that, you're going to create another double crochet in the same space, making 3 double crochets in total, because the chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So next, I'm going to chain up 2 and then double crochet 3 times once again in the same space. So yes, this is what you're supposed to have. After that, you are going to move on to chain up 2 once again, and inside the same space you are going to create another 3 double crochets in the same space. So just take your time and create your double crochets as seen. And so far we have 9 double crochets in total. So next we're going to chain up 2, and then we're going to put in 3 double crochets once again in the same space, and this is what you're supposed to have. So we are going to move into the next, chain up 3, and then inside the same space create 3 double crochets once again. If you realize that the space is becoming small, you can shift your work so that you get enough space to work in the double crochets in the same space. So as you can see, I'm shifting my work to get more space. So yeah, so this is what you're supposed to have, and you're going to chain up 2. You're going to chain up 2, and then this time we are done with your double crochets in working in the space. You are going to move in and slip stitch into the very first chain 3 space. So you're going to slip stitch on the top of the very first chain 3 space we made from the beginning. So next I'm going to chain up 3, and then we are going to work in the very first space. Yeah, so this is the very first space. We are going to go back there, that exact space here as seen, and it's like at the back of the chain 3. So you're going to work 2 extra double crochets. So in total you're going to have 3 double crochets, because the chain 3 counts as an extra double crochet. So I'm going to have 3 cluster of double crochets in the same space, and after doing this we are going to chain up 2, move into the next chain 2 space created from the previous row, and you're going to create 3 cluster of double crochets in the same space. We are going to move ahead and chain up 2, and in the same space you are going to put in 3 cluster of double crochets. So you are going to have this cute peak, and you are going to do the same in the next space. So move ahead, chain up 2. I'm going to put 3 double crochets in the same space, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same exact space. So you are basically creating this, I don't know whether to call it a pentagon or a hexagon shape for the top. So this is what you're supposed to have, and you are going to chain 2 and move to the next space, and you are going to put in 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space. I'm basically creating the same peak from what you have been doing previously. So go ahead, do this in this exact space once again, and you realize that we have created 3 peaks so far. So that's the middle peak, and these are the side peaks. So next I'm going to chain 2, and we are going to put in 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same exact space. So we are trying to achieve 5 peaks in total, or shell designs if you like it to be called that way. So in total we have 4 so far, and we are going to create the last peak over there. We have already made 3 cluster of double crochets. We are going to chain 2, and in that same space we are going to put in your last 3 double crochets, cluster of double crochets, and after that we are going to chain up an additional 3, and then you are going to slip stitch on top of the first chain 3 you made from the previous row, and in total you are done with your 5 peaks with 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and it's 5 in total in the same peak. So this is how you get your shape done. So next I'm going to chain up 3, and after chaining up 3 we are going to go into that same exact space and add an additional of 2 double crochets, making 3 in total, because the chain 3 counts as an extra double crochet. So after doing that, you are going to chain up 1, and you are going to move into the very next space, and this time you are going to create 1 double crochet in that space. You are going to chain up 1 again, go into the next space where you are going to create 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space. So you can call it the cluster set. So you make a cluster set over there, and you are done with this. So you're going to move in to the next space, and you're going to chain up 1, go into that space. This time you're going to create a single double crochet in that same exact space, chain 1, and then move to the next space, put in 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So we are basically creating the cluster, and then a double crochet in that particular separated stitch or space. So we are going to chain up 1, and once again we are going to put in a single double crochet in, chain up 1 again, and create your 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in that same exact space. So you are going to move ahead, chain 1, double crochet into that space. You are going to chain up an additional 1 again, and move to the next space, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in that same exact space. So you are going to create your last double crochet, lonely double crochet in that space, and then you are going to end up. So chain 1, put just a single double crochet there, chain 1, and then create your 3 double crochet in that same space and connect with the chain 2 space at the end. So make sure you put in 3 double crochets, and then to end this row you are going to chain up 2. So yeah, this is what you're supposed to have, and you must be right on track. So just chain up 2 and then connect to the very corner, or the very on top of the very first chain 3 we made from the beginning of the row. So this is what you're supposed to have, and you can basically see the shape forming nicely, and you are going to move along with this design. So next I'm going to chain up 3 as usual. Put your 2 double crochets in the same space, making a total of 3. You are going to chain up 1, and this time you are going to move into that space because you have 2 separated spaces, and you are going to just place a single crochet inside. You chain up 1, move to the next space over there, and then put your double crochet there, and you have 2. So as time goes by it increases. The next one is going to be 3, and then the next will be 4. So yes, basically you are creating the mesh stitch in between the sets. So this time we had 2 double crochets in between. So next I'm going to chain up 1, and I'm going to do the same thing, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the next space as seen, just like this. So chain 1 and then create your cluster as usual, and from the beginning to the end of the row you are supposed to have five clusters in total. Always, there is no increase, no decrease, but then the chain spaces increase, or the mesh stitch continue to increase. So the next will be 3 chain with chain spaces in between. The next will be 4 with chain spaces in between. So if you understand this, you can move along, but if you don't worry, I'll explain everything into details through the transitioning. So after chaining up 1, you are done, and then are going to create your last 3 double crochets as usual, and then you chain 2 to connect to the very first chain 3 space you made from the beginning of the row, and you are basically done with this shape for this particular row. So this is what you're supposed to have after, and as I told you, the next one will be increasing for the mesh stitch. So as usual, chain up your normal 3 and add your extra 2 double crochets in the same space to create the cluster of 3 double crochets. And this time, as I told you, you are going to chain up 1, just like that. Go into this space, put in your double crochet in that exact space, chain 1. You are going to go in between, and you are going to put a regular double crochet there nicely, chain 1 in between. That's the last space, a regular double crochet, and as you can see, this time it increased to 3. So chain 1 and create your regular cluster of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same exact space, and you are good to go. So do this smoothly, and if you are having issues, you can go ahead and repeat to be sure. So as I said, then the previous one was 2, this time is 3 double crochets with chain 1 spaces in between. So chain 1, go inside that first chain, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet once again, and this is your last double crochet. So chain 1, double crochet in the last space, making 3 in total. Chain 1 and create your cluster of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same exact space. So you are going to repeat this same technique till you get to the end, and I'm going to show you as usual. So let's have a close view of this. If you are not getting this right, you are supposed to have 3 with chain 1 spaces in between, and then you are going to have the cluster, and then you are going to have 3 with chain 1 spaces in between. So make sure you are right on track with this, and I'll meet you at the very end and I'll explain to you what to do next after this. Finally at the end, and this is what you're supposed to have. Make sure you repeat this technique, and you are going to move in chain 1, and then you are going to place your 3 cluster of double crochets in the final space, and then you are going to connect it with chain 2's chain 2, and then you are going to after chaining 2, you are going to slip stitch into the 3rd space, or the on top of the 3 chains you made from the previous row. So this is what you're going to have, and this is basically repetitive, and we are going to repeat this for I think 2 more rows, but it depends on the coverage you want for your chest area. So I'm just doing a size extra small or a size small for you guys to see. So this size I'm doing can fit a size extra small to small, but it can be adjusted for a size medium, and I'll show you how. So next I'm going to chain up 3 as usual and put your final 2, and then we are going to double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and this time it's going to be 4 in total. So as I told you, as time goes by it increases, and the previous one was 3 and this one is going to be 4. So after making sure it's 4 this time, you're going to chain 1, and then you are going to continue with your clusters of 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets in the same space. And as I told you, the clusters remain the same, no increase, no decrease, it just remains the same. You just have to make sure that your mesh stitch is increasing as time goes by. So just go ahead, repeat this technique. So after repeating this technique, I repeated another row, and this time I ended with 5 total of double crochet with chain 1 spaces in between. And so this is what I had, and if you followed my technique, this is what you're supposed to have so far. We are going to move to the chest area for the top. So you are just going to continue, you are not going to cut off any yarn, and you are going to just chain up 3 to begin the chest area for the top. So chain up 3, and then after chaining up 3, you are going to move to the next space, place your double crochet, move to the space after, place your double crochet and move to the space over there. This time I'm going to place 2 double crochet in that same exact space, and then target that double crochet and then place a double crochet on top. Move in between the double crochet, create your double crochet in the space, move on top of the double crochet, create your double crochet. So you're basically filling out the spaces, making sure you get the accurate number of double crochets till you get to the peak, the next peak. This time you're just creating your regular double crochets till you get to the peak. So make sure your double crochet is intact as you can see for mine, and just create a whole row of double crochet as seen, and we are getting to the peak. So just put in your regular double crochet in between and on top of the previous double crochet. So here I'm done with my final double crochet, and I'm going to put in 3 more double crochets. So this is 1, this is 2, and then this is the final one, which is the 3rd one, and then now at the peak. So we are going to move into the space over there, and then I'm going to create your 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space as usual, so that your peak will be maintained this time. So just do this basically and you are going to be fine. So after creating the peak, you have no worries, you are going to continue with your regular double crochets. So move to the next space, double crochet, and the space after double crochet, and then double crochet in that exact double crochet on top of that exact double crochet, and then go ahead with your double crochets till you get to the other peak. So just follow my lead, and when you get to that peak, I'll show you what to do next. So you are almost at that peak, and that is where you are going to stop. So make sure you double crochet as seen, and when you are going to get to the chain 2 space, you are going to stop at that exact space just like that, and then we are basically done with the very first row for the chest area. So you're going to continue with your rows of double crochet, and when you get to the middle, make sure you put in the 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in that exact same space. So I'm going to do a couple of demonstration for you. So as usual, I'm going to chain up 3, and then you are going to begin the next row. So double crochet in the next row, and then put in regular double crochets all the way to where the peak is, where you are going to make some changes, and you know that you are going to put 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in that same exact space. So just follow along with my lead, and I'll show you what to do at the peak if you can't repeat and rewatch. So just follow this step, and it's very easy to make. So at the peak, you are going to put your last double crochet right there, and then you target the space, and this time you're going to put in your 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. You can put a chain 1 space in between. It just depends on what you want. So just make sure the peak is created so that you have those that curvy design for the top. So after you are done, you are going to continue with your regular double crochet all the way down to the end of the row. This is what you're supposed to have after repeating a total of 11 rows. So it depends on the coverage you want. You can go ahead and repeat as long as you want. So I'm going to teach you how I'll decrease to make the base. So to decrease, you're going to chain up to 10 over inside the hook. You have 3 on your hook right now. We are going to pull through only 2 of, and we are going to yarn over inside the hook, pull through. You have 4 on the hook. This time you're going to pull through only 2. You have 3, and then you are going to pull through the last 3. So that's how to decrease for the ends, and you are going to do this for both ends. So you are going to, after decreasing, you are going to go ahead and do your regular double crochets all the way to the end of this of the row. So you are going to do that until you get to where the peak is, where you are also going to decrease. So make sure you place one double crochet in each space till you get to the end where you are going to make your decreasing row. So getting to the end here, you are going to stop 2 stitches before, and then you are going to yarn over half 3 on the hook, pull through 2. You are going to yarn over, insert the hook into the space, pull through, it becomes 4, pull through final 2, you have 3 on the hook and pull through the last 3. So this is how to decrease or sew when getting to the peak. So next you are going to chain 2, and then you are going to decrease once again as I taught you from the beginning and the end of the row. So when you have 3 on the hook, you pull through, it becomes 2, and then you pull through 2, you pull through your final 3, and then you are going to go ahead and do your regular double crochet till you get to the end where you are going to do the decreasing as I've been teaching you all this while. So do this and I'll meet you. So as usual, I'm going to stop to before, so I'm going to put my last double crochet there, and then I'm going to decrease for you all to see. So to decrease, you go in the next, you have 3 on the hook, pull through 2, it becomes 2, yarn over, insert the hook, it becomes 4, pull through 2, it becomes 3, pull through final 3, and you are done with your decreasing, and you are going to do it once again for the next again. So you are going to decrease at the beginning and at the end always until you get to a total of 3 stitches on the row. So as you decrease, it ends up at a peak, so make sure you decrease always when going ahead. So this is what you're supposed to do for this particular top. So make sure you follow the lead by decreasing at the beginning and the end, and I'll meet you. So I'm done with my decreasing, and this is what I have. So I'm going to do my last decreasing, so that I'll be left with a total of 3 stitches. So to do this, what you're going to do is to chain up 2, turn over your work, yarn over, insert into the next space, you have 3 on the hook, you're going to pull through 2, pull through 2. Let me demonstrate it again. So when you have 3, you pull through 2 just like that, and you are going to yarn over, insert the hook into the next space, pull through 2, you have 3 in the hook, pull through all 3, and I'm going to do it again, yarn over, pull through 2, you have 2 on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, again you have your final 3 and you pull through all 3. So you decrease at both the beginning and the end this time, and we are going to chain up 3, and then this time we are not going to decrease, we are going to put in 2 regular double crochets in the next space and the space after. So this time we are going to have 3 double crochets, and we are going to make a long strap enough for it to tie over your back area. So this is a thick long strap for you to tie on your back area. So you are going to do 3 double crochets as seen to make the straps, but it depends on how you want your straps. You can make a long rope or a long strap which is not thick for you, so it just depends on what you want. So just follow my lead, and when we get to the end, I'll show you what to do. So you are going to repeat the exact same decreasing for this side as well, so that you have a symmetrical top, size of the top. So after doing this, I finished with my long straps, enough to tie at my back. So I'm just going to cut off and then get ready to work on the other side and decrease as I told you, so that the tops become symmetrical. So I'm done with my decreasing, and I also made the straps as well, so everything is almost done, and I'm just going to work on the edging. So to work on the edging, I just took my hook and then made 2 chains to secure, and then I just connected it to the other side, and I'm just going to work in regular single crochets till I get to where the top of the hexagon or the pentagon. So just work your single crochets on the sides as seen, and I'll meet you. So we are now at the corner of the hexagon, and that's where you're going to create the strap. So make a long strap enough to tie around your neck, and we are going to come back with a single crochet as seen to make the strap thicker. So that's how I made mine. You have several options to make yours, so just make sure you make it thick, and that's all that matters. So after single crocheting back, you're going to go along the neck area with single crochets to get to the other side of the top, where you're going to create the same thick strap as well. So as I said, you are going to work your straps, and then you are going to come back down with single crochet till you get to the end of that exact same side. So I ended over there. You don't need to work single crochets on the thick strap, so we are just going to create the piecock or the picot edging. So to do that, you are going to chain up 3, and then you are going to slip stitch into that same space. So the slip stitch might be thicker, so just make sure you slip stitch, and after that you are going to slip stitch a total of 3, chain up 3 again, and then slip stitch into the same space. So I'm going to have this cute picot edging, and if you want like a detailed tutorial on it, there are several tutorials on how to make it. So if you are not getting mine, you can go and watch a more detailed tutorial, but I'll try as much as possible to explain to you how to make the picot edging. So this is how I made my edgings, and it adds a whole lot of nice details to your work. And yes, so make sure all your works have nice edging, and you can choose a particular edging that you are comfortable with, because there are several edgings, and even a single crochet is an edging, a simple edging you can make to make your works superb. So after creating the picot edging, you're going to do the same thing till you get to this side where the straps is, and I'll show you what to do after that. So when I did all the picot edging, I'm not going to cut off, I'm just going to slip stitch to the other side or the neckline area, and I'm going to create the same picot edging over there. So we are just going to simply create a picot edging, and we are going to apply this technique to the other side as well, and then downwards the work, making sure that you make accurate picot edging to leave a clean edging for your work. So guys, we are going to repeat the same single crochet and picot edging for the bottom of the top separately. So after this is what you are supposed to have. Your top is finally done. It should take you 2 hours or more to make this. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe as well for more exciting crochet tutorials. So thank you so much. Bye bye.